Alright, what's the word? So, the purpose of this video is to educate ourselves, right? It's the history of New Year's, alright? So we know that, we're about to find out, because a lot of people don't know. And a lot of people know, they just don't care, alright? Because they worship not the Creator. They worship not the God of Israel. All right, so what we're going to do is find out the history of New Year's. All right, so in the book of Daniel, it says that man was going to change times and laws. What does that mean? That means that man was going to change the ancient past. They're going to change the way that the Most High set up the way, of creation. So in the ancient East, right, the beginning of the new year was in March, right? What is March? March is the beginning of spring. The beginning of spring is when things begin to regrow. Now, see, you have to understand the Creator, right, and the way He set things up. God is not the author of confusion. Satan is. All right. So Daniel already prophesied that man was going to change times and laws. And oh boy, did Bible prophecy unfold. Okay, so now we're about to find out who Janus is. Because a lot of people, when you celebrate New Year's on January the 1st, you're celebrating Janus. Okay, now different cultures celebrate New Year's in different ways, but the ultimate, and they're also worshiping their gods, because different cultures and different nations have their own gods, and they pay homage to their different gods of the present and the future or whatever. All right, so we're about to read this little description of who Janus is. All right, let's go.
Who is Janus, the Roman god of beginnings and endings? January 1st can be a day of regret and reflection. Did I really need that fifth glass of bubbly last night? Mixed with hope and optimism for the future, as we make plans to renew gym memberships or finally sort out our tax files. This January ritual of looking forward and backward is fitting for the first day of a month named after Janus, the Roman god of beginnings and endings.
You see that? And see, the thing is, people make the same old... They make the same old, what they call those, New Year resolutions every year. Every year they make the same one over and over, right? And most people, New Year resolutions don't even, it's just like a cycle. It's like a hamster wheel. They do the same thing over and over, all right?
Doorkeeper of the heavens. In Roman mythology, Janus was a king of Latium, a region of central Italy, who had his palace on the Janiculum Hill, on the western bank of the river Tiber. According to the Roman intellectual Macrobius, Janus was given divine honors on account of his own religious devotion, as he set a pious example for all his people. Roman coin showing the two-headed Janus. Wikimedia Commons. Janus was proudly venerated as a uniquely Roman god, rather than one adopted from the Greek pantheon. All forms of transition came within his purview, beginnings and endings, entrances, exits, and passageways.
You notice mostly all nations, they copy off of each other gods. All right, some take the god and they change the name. All right, but it's all worship. It's Satan. Come on, man. Who else would take your worship away from the Creator and the origins and the original way of things, right? The Most High told the Israelites in Mount Sinai that the beginning of months, all right, the month of Aviv, the month of Abib, or Aviv, is the beginning of months, all right? And that month was in the spring, okay?
The name Janus in Latin, as the alphabet had no J, is etymologically related to Janua, the Latin word for door. Janus himself was the Jan-eater, or doorkeeper, of the heavens. The cult statue of Janus depicted the god bearded with two heads. This meant that he could see forwards and backwards and inside and outside simultaneously without turning around.
Is that not blasphemy? That sounds just like Santa Claus too. He knows when you're sleeping. He knows when. The only God, the only Elohim that knows, beginning, future, and past and present is the Creator, Yahuwah. He has a whole book, right? From the creation to how things are going to end. No other God can make this claim. You see? I want to worship the God that knows the future from beginning and end, and it's documented, and it's written. Because it's a lot of things that came to pass, and it's a lot of things that haven't came to pass. We live in Bible prophecy right now.
Janus held a staff in his right hand, in order to guide travelers along the correct route, and a key in his left to open gates.
Sure.
War and Peace. Shrine of Janus, as depicted on a coin of the Emperor Nero. Wikimedia Commons. Janus is famously associated with the transition between peace and war. Numa, the legendary second king of Rome, who was famed for his religious piety, is said to have founded a shrine to Janus Geminus, twofold, in the Roman Forum, close to the Senate House. It was located in the place where Janus had bubbled up a spring of hot boiling water in order to thwart an attack on Rome by the Sabines. The shrine was an enclosure formed by two arched gates at each end, joined together by walls to form a passageway. A bronze statue of Janus stood in the middle, with one head facing towards each gate. According to the historian Livy, Numa intended the shrine as an index of peace and war, that when opened it might signify that the nation was in arms, when closed that all the peoples round about were pacified.
Okay, man. So what does the word of the Most High say? Have no other gods before me, right? So if you claim that you worship the God of the Bible, Yahuwah, the God of Israel, the Elohim, the Creator, right, of heaven and earth, you would take heed to this lesson. You would get the knowledge, and you will stop participating in foolish festivals that honor other gods, and you're claiming that you are a worshiper of the Creator. That's the purpose of these videos. That's the purpose of this video also.
The gates of Janus are said to have stayed closed for 43 years under Numa, but rarely remained so thereafter, although the first Emperor Augustus boasted that he closed the shrine 3 times. Nero later celebrated his conclusion of peace with Parthia by minting coins showing the gates of Janus firmly shut.
Is this not blasphemy, people? Right? Is this not disrespectful to the Creator?
Happy New Year. The God Janus by Sebastian Munster, 1550. Wikimedia Commons. Romans believed that the month of January was added to the calendar by Numa. The association between Janus and the calendar was cemented by the construction of 12 altars, one for each month of the year, in Janus's temple in the Forum Holatorium, the vegetable market.
Now, if you don't know, every month of the year is named after a false god, if you didn't know. From January to back to January, right? December, all that. All those are names they're named after false deities.
The poet Martial thus described Janus as the progenitor and father of the years.
Sure.
From 153 BC onwards, the consuls, the chief magistrates of the Republic, took office on the first day of January, which the Romans called the Calends. The new consuls offered prayers to Janus, and priests dedicated spelt mixed with salt and a traditional barley cake.
Now, you see that the Romans, and I tell people this all the time, the Romans and the Greeks are known pagans. All right? So why would we allow these people to change the name of the Father and the Son? You see? They were pagans. So in order for them to accept the Messiah or the Father, right, they changed the name. See, that's blasphemy, right?
The new consuls offered prayers to Janus, and priests dedicated spelt mixed with salt and a traditional barley cake, known as the Yisra'EL, to the god. Romans distributed New Year's gifts of dates, figs, and honey to their friends, in the hope that the year ahead would turn out to be sweet, as well as coins, a sign of hope for prosperity. Janus assumed a key role in all Roman public sacrifices, receiving incense and wine first before other deities. This was because, as the doorkeeper of the heavens, Janus was the route through which one reached the other gods, even Jupiter himself. The text on agriculture, written by Cato the Elder, describes how offerings would be made to Janus, Jupiter, and Juno as part of the pre-harvest sacrifice to ensure a good crop. So if you're feeling caught between two worlds this January 1st, why not head outside and celebrate Roman style? Pack up some sweets to share, grab your keys, and shut the door on 2017.
Okay, so this article was written in 2017. We know that this is 2022, all right? Going into 2023, actually in the year of March. I'm sorry, not the year of March, the month of March. So the month of March is the beginning of the new year, all right? So they're encouraging you to be pagan, Roman style, right? They're encouraging you to be a pagan, an idolater, all right? All right, so now let's read some information about how we understand that the Western world is the new way. It's just the new world, right? It's the new world order, whatever, however. So how things were ran in ancient times in the East, all right, is how things were originally ran, right? Now, let's read and let's listen. March the 25th was the new year once upon a time, right? Now, we know that Daniel said that man was going to change times and laws. Now, let's dive in.
March 25th was the new year once upon a time. The new year, while basically a religious festival.
What did it say? It said the new year is a religious festival. Interesting.
The new year, while basically a religious festival, has so much history behind it, because it is related to the creation and adaptation of the Gregorian calendar.
Now we know that the Gregorian calendar is who? The Romans. Now, in the Bible, the Romans is the fourth kingdom, the fourth beast, right? The last kingdom before Yahushua returned, right? And we know that kingdom was going to be strong. That kingdom was going to be a mixed kingdom with iron and pottery clay, meaning that it's going to be strong and partially weak, right?
When the early Romans had devised their calendar, there were only 10 months, with March being the first month of the year. The practice of starting the new year in January is about 400 years old now.
Interesting.
The calendar. In Mesopotamia at around 2000 BC.
Okay, it said that calendar is 400 years old, just like the name Jesus is 400 years old. Continue.
In Mesopotamia at around 2000 BC, the new year was celebrated during the time of the vernal equinox, which was around March 25th. There were only 10 months then.
Why did they celebrate New Year's around March? Because that's when things begin to regrow, right? How can the new year begin? Think about this, people. How can the new year begin in the dead of winter when no leaves are off trees, right? Nothing's growing, no crop is growing, all right? The leaves, everything's dead, okay? We got to think about this stuff.
The calendar during that time was based on the season, and March was when the planting season started.
You see what I'm saying?
It was therefore chosen as the first month of the year. With March as the first.
But it's saying it was chosen, but the Most High already told the Israelites that this is the beginning of months. He said this shall be the beginning of months, the month of Abib. But man changed times and laws. They changed it into the month of March. All right, and I believe March is named after a god, a false god too. All right, but let's continue.
With March as the first month of the year, it was logical that Septem was the name of the 7th month, September in Latian, Octo, for the 8th month, Noem, for the 9th month, and Decem, for the 10th month. It was in 153 BC when Rome started celebrating the new year on the first day of January. The months of January and February were added by Rome's second king, Numa Pontilius, at about 700 BC January.
Man gonna do what? Change times and laws.
The months of January and February were added by Rome's second king, Numa Pontilius, at about 700 BC January. It became the beginning of the year because it was during that time when the newly elected Roman consuls started their one-year tenure in office.
See, it's the beginning of the year to them. You see? And who was their god? Janus. See?
The new year in the Julian calendar. Julius Caesar introduced the Julian calendar with January as the first month of the year in 46 BC. It was based on the movements of the sun and was a much improved calendar compared to the Roman lunar calendar that was in use earlier. The lunar calendar was later proven to be very inaccurate. However, during the Middle Ages,
it's funny that they said that the lunar calendar is inaccurate like the new one, like the Julius calendar is. It's off. It's way off.
However, during the Middle Ages, the use of January 1st as the new year was abolished and it went back to being celebrated on March 25th, coinciding with the Christians' Annunciation Day.
Okay, so now they're talking about Christians' Annunciation Day. That's the Passover. So the Passover is the new year, right? But it's not a Christian holiday, right? It's a day that the Creator Yahuwah told his people, the Israelites, that this shall be the beginning of months, right? So they throwing Christian in there that's not what it is, right? It's not a Christian day, okay? And Christians don't even celebrate the Passover in the first place, okay?
During that time, the observance of the New Year varied. In some parts of Europe, it was observed on March 1st, March 25th during Easter, or on December 25th, although March 25th was the dominant day for observing the New Year. The New Year in the Gregorian calendar. In 1582, the Gregorian calendar was introduced and adapted, with January 1st reinstated as the start of the year. It was introduced by Pope Gregory XIII, with the corrected discrepancies in the computation of the equinoxes and the leap years. The British and its colonies in the Americas began using the Gregorian calendar only around 1752. This is the Christian or Western calendar that we still use today. Calendar oddities. In every year, including leap years, July starts on the same day as April. The first day of September starts on the same day as December. The first day of March also matches the first day of November. The only difference they have is the additional day for March, July and December. During non-leap years, additional matches occur in January and October, while March and November start on the same day as February. July is the same as January and February is the same as August for the first 29 days during leap years.
Don't that sound like a bunch of confusion? It sounds like a bunch of confusion. Okay, so now let's go get where the prophet Daniel said that man was going to change times and laws, that it was prophesied. Let's go get that. All right, we're here on this Daniel 7. I already got it highlighted. Let's read 23 to 25, okay? Okay. This is a prophecy. It says, thus he said, the fourth beast is wrong, if you didn't know, shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it into pieces. All right. Now, to prove that, Google or look up on your own. What is the most the kingdom religion? My bad. What religion has the most members? First, going to be Catholic, right? Now, the Catholic Church is the Roman Catholic Church, right? Just because people don't say Roman Catholic, don't get it twisted. The Catholic Church is Rome. That's the Romans, right? They speak Latin. Okay, now verse 24. And then the 10 horns out of this kingdom are the 10 horns that shall rise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue the 3 kings. Now here you go in verse 25. And he shall speak great words against El Elon. That's Elohim, the Most High. Okay, and shall wear out the Kodesh, the saints of Elohim, El Elyon, and think to change what? There go, time and laws, and shall be given into his hands until a period of time and times and the dividing of times. All right. You see, so you see there, it was already prophesied by the prophet Daniel that man was going to change times and laws. And did they not do that. All right, look. So I looked up what are the most popular religions. The very first one is Christianity, 31.2%. And then Islam, and then irreligion. I don't know what that is. Hinduism, Buddhism, folk religions, Sikhism, and then Judaism. Okay? Okay. And if you didn't know, Catholic, all right, Catholicism is Christianity. It says Roman Catholic is the largest of the 3 major branches of Christianity. Christianity is Christianity. Thus, all Roman Catholics are Christian, but not all Christians are Roman Catholic. Now, why does it say that? Because you got different sects of Christianity. You got Baptist, you got Pentecostal, you got so-called non-denomination, you got Jehovah's Witness, you have Seventh-day Adventists. They're all Christians, you see? That's why it's saying all Roman Catholics are Christian, but not all Christians are Roman Catholic. But who doctrine do they follow? The Roman Catholic, yes. Okay, the Roman Catholic, all these Christmas, New Year's, Easter, Halloween, and etc., are all Roman Catholic holidays. And yes, most Christians follow what? The same holidays. They follow the same festivals that the Roman Catholics created. Okay, now I got another one for you. All right, who changed Saturday? Who changed from the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday? The Roman Catholics. So if you go to church on Sunday, you follow the Roman Catholic doctrine, the Roman Catholic doctrine. So that's why I be trying to tell people. So if you are a Christian, then you follow the Roman Catholic. All right, it's not hard. All right, so let's go to Exodus 12. We're in Exodus 12. We're gonna read 1, 2, 3. So we're gonna see, when did the Creator Yahuwah set up the new year? And Yahuwah spoke unto El Moshe and El Aharon in the land of Yisra'EL, which is Egypt, saying, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. All right. Speak unto all the assembly of Yisra'EL, Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month shall take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for a house. All right, now let's go see what month he's speaking of. All right, We in Deuteronomy 16. We're going to read 1 to 2. He said, guard the month of Aviv. Right? Aviv, Abib. Same thing. For an unroot use, meaning to be tender, green. When does things begin to grow? All right? You getting it? March. Young ear of grain. Hence the name of the first month. All right? That's how we can correlate the month of Abib into the very first day of spring, which is in March. Guard the month of Aviv and keep the Pesach. What is the Pesach? The Passover. So whenever the Passover is, that's when the beginning of months are. For in the month of Aviv, Yahuwah Elohaka, right? We know Elohaka is singular, right? It's singular for the Creator, Him alone. Brought you forth out of the land of Mitzrayim by night. So it was in the month of what we know as today is March, is when the Israelites came out of Egypt. Ye shall therefore sacrifice the Pesach, Passover, unto Yahuwah Elohaka of the flock and of the herd, and in the place which Yahuwah shall choose to place his name there, which is Jerusalem. All right? So, man, look, there you have it, man. The beginning of months is in the month of March. It's not in January 1st. All right? We see and we know that Satan is the author of confusion. And his job is to confuse you, right? So me as a servant of Yahuwah, my job is to bring clarity and edify his people. All right, man, that's been my time. Hope somebody got some understanding, man. The month of the beginning of the year does not start in January the 1st. It starts in March. You've been told, you've been warned. All right, free will, do as thou. No, don't do as thou will, because that's a satanic quotation. All right, choose life or choose death. The Most High, you know, he's already, you know, it's been presented to you. You know, choose a side, right? Okay, you know, choose your side. How long are we gonna be between two opinions? If Yahuwah be, let's get that scripture. Let's get that. All right, we in 1 Kings 18 and 21. Now it says, and Eliyahu, that's who? Elisha. Okay. All right. It says, now if Eliyahu came unto all the people and said, how long have ye between two opinions? What does he mean by you're being between two opinions? You like, well, you know, you can't worship two gods. You can't worship Yahuwah and you can't worship Satan or Baal or Beelzebub, okay? You got to choose one. You can't be doing things that glorify other gods and say you're worshiping the Creator. That's what he's talking about. How long had ye be between two opinions? If Yahuwah be Elohim, follow him. But if Baal, then follow him. And the people answer him not a word. All right, that's been my time, man. I'm out.